sure quite a few of you know me already. I'm Claire Eggleton. I teach at Salisbury. I also teach sociology across all the campuses. And I'll tell you a little bit about my background in a second. What are we going to do? So we're going to look at a little bit of crime prevention. Why are we going to look at crime prevention? Anybody doing crime prevention as part of their studies? Yeah, quite a few. Designing out crime, how to stop people offending. So it's quite relevant. Okay, so if anyone's doing, who's doing Unit 2 in Criminology, the first year? Hands up, lovely. Who's doing Year 2 Criminology? Woohoo! Ladies in the middle row. HND lot. Oh, yeah. That's what you get when you get to HND level. And every police officer who has got that hope that they might be a police officer one day, or that kind of genre, lovely. Every police officer needs to have a basic understanding of crime prevention because you are first on the scene, all right? So I have simplified things, okay? And we are going to have a look. The reason I'm looking at crime prevention is because my background with Wiltshire Police was as a crime prevention officer. So it was my job to go out and speak to victims of burglaries. I was also an architectural liaison officer, which means I work with planners and architects to design out new estates where crime might happen, and we try to design it out so in the future it's crime free. So a lot of the new estates in Trowbridge I worked on, a lot of the new estates in Salisbury I worked on, and I would be able to tell planners what we needed to include or remove to try and help in terms of the future and crime figures in that area. So that's why we're going to have a look at that one. All right, and I've created this little game because it's Monday morning and we're all half asleep, aren't we? And we all need to wake up, and we're going to go through it. So let's have a look. Click on the grabber, let's see what we get. Okay, a lovely emoji with heart faces. So that one is bringing up lighting. Okay, can anybody tell me how does crime? How does lighting prevent crime? Because you can see things. Yeah. Ah. Did you know that when there's a full moon, the crime rates go up? Why does that happen? Yeah, it's lovely light. Crime rates go sky high when it's full moon. So lighting, you've got two pictures on the screen, one with dark, one with light. Now lighting's great as long as it's in the right places. It's all very well having lights everywhere, but then we get light pollution and we need to be careful of neighbours, things like that. But light in the right place is a good thing. Okay. Right, let's go to the grabber again. Oh, tell you what, technology. There we go. So you've got smiley glasses guy. So that smiley glasses guy is brought up gates. Anybody like to offer their thought on why gates are a good way of preventing crime? Come on, people, I'm going to nag you until somebody talks to me.
Putting a physical barrier.
You hear it. Great physical barrier. Absolutely. You are providing a barrier, camera. You are also showing that that is your space. Yeah, you're showing this is private property. So gates are really good as long as they're used in the right way. So, see this one. Anybody think this might be good or bad? Bad. Why do you think bad? Gates are open, absolutely. So anyone can just wander on in. Well, gates are open, mate. So I just sort of walk in. What else? Absolutely. The bushes are quite low. So what is the point of having the gates? Because all you've got to do is trample over the bushes and you're in. Yeah. So it's great having gates, but they've got to be used. They've got to be the right type of gates, and they've got to be used in the right way. Have you ever heard of alley gating? Those of you that are doing Unit 4 will be covering that hopefully right now, I think, in the next couple of weeks. So alley gating, think where you live. Have you got any alleyways that are a little bit scary? People might congregate and mix there. Yeah. So alleyways and crime in alleyways was a problem back about 10 years ago, a real problem, especially in the sort of London suburbs. And it was decided that after a project, by Calvin Beckford, that they would start looking at putting gates in at the front of each alleyway to try and stop crime from happening. And lots of research was done, and it worked. So you will find lots of gates popping up like this that will deter people from gathering in those places. But again, only good if you shut them behind you. Okay, right, let's move on. Go to the grabber again. Ooh, what have we got this time? Oh, we've got toothy glasses man. Okay. I'm going to come to this. This slide, like 5 minutes ago, was called Prickly Bush. There you go. Get out your system. Get it out your system. I was sat there yesterday afternoon and I messaged Lily going, we need to change the slide. We cannot have a prickly bush. Don't have a prickly plant. Anybody care to tell me how a prickly plant crime prevention tool? Don't go near it, Abs. Anti-deterrent. Why is it an anti-deterrent? Don't want to get hurt? Yeah, don't want to get hurt. What else could the plant do for you? Sting you, could hurt you. If you're a burglar, they're called what we call opportunists, which means you just pick a house and go for it. Right? Does an opportunist want to get caught? No. Does an opportunist want to leave anything behind? No. So what could you leave behind? Oh. Yeah. So, boring roller bros on this one. So, hair. Hair. I couldn't get enough out of my head, so I had to call in our lovely boss over there to get some of her hair out, so she pull that onto it. So you can see hair can get snagged very easily on plants, anything sticky, and anything that is prickly. So a rose bush, bushes that will yellow ones with the little thorns on. Again, nobody wants to leave any samples behind, whether it be material, whether it be hair, whether it be blood. Yeah. No, just the hair. Just the hair. And it was destroyed afterwards, and no evidence kept. Because a lot can be taken from that. What part of somebody's hair holds their root? So we do need a bit of rootage, but if you're playing with a prickly bush, it will pull out a nice clump. Okay. Okay, you're going to downhill after this. So, prickly plant, just fine. Yes, by planting. Just by planting some rose bushes or prickly plants somewhere where maybe you've got a low fence, something like that. Nobody's going to take the chance. Not won't take the chance that it can be an end. All right. Okay, let's do the old zapper again. Ooh, okay, glasses and smiley. Okay, anybody tell me what defensible space is? Oh. Yeah, must be defensible space. Anybody has to guess? Like I tell my students, in the ologies, those words are exactly what it says on the tin. Defensible space. Defending the space. Yeah. So if you've got a house, you don't want everybody coming up a party in your garden. What defends your garden? Fence, hedges, bushes. Could be a recurring thing now, isn't it? To this stage. That is defending your space. Can anybody think of something back in medieval times that might be defensible space? A moat around a castle. Spot on. Yeah, spot on. So let's have a look. Is that a good form of defensible space? It's a gate. It's a gate. It's good. Absolutely. Yeah. I have seen people go up to these gates and actually open and go through. I have seen it happen. So yeah, put in context. Great to have a gate. However, it has to be usable and has to be appropriate. What about that one? Property, public property, barriers, defensible space. Yeah? No? Aaron's shaking his head at me. No? He always do that. No? Anybody think no? No. Emily, why no? So who knows, if I went and played football on there, couldn't play football if I wanted to. If I went and played football there, who's to tell me it's private or public space? There isn't anything, is there? Yeah, so there is nothing defending that piece of space. That one. Good. Get thumbs up, Melanie. And stop walking around. Am I right? Keep going off camera. So we're getting a bit of good, we're getting a bit of bad. So you've got a gate that's open, but you do have a little picket fence that is actually saying no, anything behind this is private property. Yeah. Anybody live in a house that goes, you open your front door straight onto the street? Terrace. No? No? Excellent. Right. Move on. Any Gooner fans in today? No, don't be a bit into being a Gooner.
Yes,
Sorry, I can't hear anyone. No Gooner fans. No Gooner fans at all. They're not into it. No Gooner. Oh, James is a Gooner fan. Crystal Palace tonight. Win. In the taste at the moment. Anybody? Guys, anybody in the BTM of today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody seen this?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what is it? Absolutely. So if your name began with A, would you go and have a bit of a selfie with the A? Why have I given no?
Natural surveillance.
Oh, they're not natural surveillance. Not really natural, is it? Maybe it's man-made. Why do you think it's there? Bearing in mind, we talk about defending space. Yeah, so it stops cars from having a direct approach. If you get anything, terrorism, vehicle-borne devices, they can't get up close. All of that is very sturdy. It's actually there. It looks nice, as a feature, but it is actually a crime prevention method to stop anything getting too close to the stadium. It's a barrier, essentially. Okay. I can't believe nobody admits to being a goon apart from one. Okay, right, let's have another look. Nearly there. Okay. Smiley face. Trees. Trees. They smell nice. They what? They get in the way.
They're not as good as bushes.
Not good bushes. Now I'm going to be known as Bush Lady, aren't I? Wherever I go, Bush Lady. So trees, anybody offer me, so you can't see through them. If I give you a picture of a couple of trees, is that jogging anyone's mind? Any thoughts how a tree can be crime prevention? How you can use a tree to prevent crime from happening? No? So you've got a couple of trees in front of the house. Does that help?
Can't see it.
Can't see it. Both trees. Is one tree a bit more see-through than the other? Absolutely. So trees are really good at preventing crime because it allows, go for it, John. They can, this one, definitely. Okay, if you're going to have a tree in front of your house, you want to have good surveillance. You want to be able to look out your living room window and say, oh, there's a guy out there spying on me. If you've got a tree this size, it's going to give them coverage. If you've got a tree with a very high canopy, then that is going to give you good natural surveillance. Whoever said natural surveillance, yeah, natural surveillance that you can see through. Okay, I remember going to a job 2 years ago where they were having problems in a skate park. And the problem with the skate park, it was surrounded by this gigantic bush. It wasn't prickly, just a high bush. And I said to them, you've got to cut the bush down, or it's a hedge. You've got to cut it down because there is no natural surveillance. So the kids are getting away with it. They're smashing stuff. They're putting paint everywhere. You've got to cut it right down. And they said, well, the birds like the hedge, so we're going to leave it. Crime continued. Okay, because there was no natural surveillance. The best form of security is humans. And being able to see, right? So trees can play a massive part. Anyone from Salisbury campus, you'll see that we've got our new car park and all of the bushes at the minute are really low, so you can see right across the car park. I'm hoping that as they grow, they will still be kept low, because obviously if they get any higher, the cars could be vulnerable. Okay. I think we might have one more. Whoop. Oh. Okay, we'll just go with this one. What's this picture? Gravel. Like on that? Loud. What did I say? What did I say? Well said. What did I say burglars are? Opportunists. What do they not want? Don't want to get caught. Is walking on gravel going to get them caught?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, burglars will walk up the street, look where there's no light. They'll look where there's open gates. They'll look where there's no gravel. They'll look where there's no sign of pets. Yeah, and gravel is one of those very simple things that you can put down that will deter burglars. Okay. Just again. Right, we're getting to the end, ladies and gents. One question. Who is responsible for preventing crime? Hands up, who thinks police? Okay, so we've got a few saying police. Who thinks the council are responsible? Okay, got a few hands. Lovely, a few hands. Any other agencies anyone would like to shout out? Everyone. Those of you that have paid attention to your studies will have heard, and my guys will definitely have heard, of Section 17, Crime and Disorder Act. Talk about this act a lot because from it was slowly impacts the age of criminal responsibility following both killings. Lots and lots of things came out of this Crime and Disorder Act. And one specific is Section 17, which says that everyone is responsible for preventing crime, not just the police. Okay, which is why lots of partnerships were born with the council, fire, ambulance, everybody, because it's everyone's responsibility. And all you need to do is look at these simple cues that I've given you. Have a look in your garden. Is the hedge, have you got a hedge that's a bit damaged? Could you do with putting some prickly planting in? Do you have gravel? What can you do just to make your house a little bit more secure? Because the more you can do, the less likely you are to be a victim of crime. Okay. Okay, so what have I just waffled on about? So, changing the environment is really important. Okay? I've always said crime prevention is not rocket science, and it's not about CCTV and alarms and bolts and padlocks and everything like that. You start with the basics. Okay? The amount of problems we solve when I go to people's houses would be solved with just a couple of tweaks. You know, shut the side gate, put a padlock on it. Somebody's climbing in over the fence on top of the shed roof. Put a prickly bush there. A lot of people would keep their wheelie bins by the side, so a burglar would use a nice hop over the wheelie bin, move it away from the fence. As I say, it's not rocket science, okay? And just those little tiny measures. So bear in mind when you do Unit 4, those of you that are on second year already, those of you that will be doing it next year, just think about all those simple little things, because crime prevention shouldn't be that scary, really. What we just looked at is something called SEPTED. Anybody heard of that? Okay. So crime prevention through environmental design. It's a really important key basic for all police personnel. Okay, so it's definitely something that everyone needs to be aware of, and it can take into the future and right. There. Thank you very much.